So listen to this. At 29 years old, Elaine Welteroth became the youngest editor-in-chief in Condé Nast's history, a promotion that ended up trending on Twitter and becoming national news. But as the world was applauding her for making history, Welteroth herself was still untangling exactly what the career milestone really meant and how she got there. She's going well past the headlines and giving deeper context in her new book, unpacking exactly what it means to be more than enough. Elaine Welteroth joins us in studio this morning. Great to have you here this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I know, early morning.
Bright and early.
It is, certainly. But lots to talk about and unpack in this book, as we mentioned in the intro there. You call this book a love letter to anyone who's felt othered or overlooked and wanted to overcome. Talk to me about More Than Enough, the title.
Well, when I was writing the book, I came across a stat that said that young women's confidence peaks at age 9.
What?
Right? And it was really heartbreaking. And at the same time, when I thought about my own journey, I realized that it was actually pretty accurate for not just myself, but for all the women that I know, because we go through this kind of universal arc where we're born into the world and we have an unbridled sense of possibility, and this is before sort of the labels get put on you and you know, the stereotypes, and there's a way in which the world has chips away at your confidence. And I saw it in my own life. I saw it in the women's life around me. And I think that if you're lucky, you get to a point where you recognize kind of the atrophy and you fight to get back to who you were born to be. And so that sort of became this through line for the book, and kind of this intention for the book is to just remind people that every single time you have that voice that says you're not enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not smart enough, you're not qualified enough, it's just to remind yourself, yeah, no matter who you are, you can identify with that feeling. And I think it's important for us to have this kind of this counter narrative to grab onto that says, I'm more than enough, even if I am a work in progress, and we all are a work in progress.
Exactly. So you decide to write the book. You've got this intention. A friend told you that writing a book is like scraping the very bottom of your soul. Does that seem accurate for you?
She wasn't lying.
No?
No.
Why is that?
Well, listen, I'm a journalist, and for 10 years of my career, I have been the conduit for other people's stories. And my job, really, especially as, you know, the first, you know, the second Black editor-in-chief in Condé Nast history and the youngest one, I felt like I had a unique responsibility to tap stories that are rarely heard, from voices that are rarely heard. And now it was my opportunity, or it was sort of my time to tell my own story. And it was hard to turn that lens onto my own life, but I felt like it was necessary in this moment, because we are living the age of kind of women's empowerment, but we're also living in the age of social media, where we only see success stories playing out in real life on Instagram or in headlines and highlight reels, and we're only getting like the shiniest slice of that story. We're not getting the truth. We're not getting those universal truths that are sort of left out of the success stories that we're told. And I felt like I had more to offer this next generation that's coming up behind me, you know, more than I could, you know, leave on an Instagram caption. You know, I had more to say, and hopefully this is creating space for more women to tell their stories, to tell the whole story, and to not be too afraid.
That's so true. That line between, you know, asking the questions to be, you know, from the journalist standpoint, to be the one, like in your shoes right now, where I'm asking the questions. I feel very uncomfortable in your position, like I'm sure you did as well. So guidance along the way, how important was it to have what you call your North Star?
So my North Star was everything. She was a woman named Harriet Cole. She is a woman named Harriet Cole. She's still a mentor of mine. There she is. I call her my career guardian angel, my fashion fairy tale godmother. She, you know, when I was coming of age and trying to figure out, I don't know how you guys found these photos. They're so sweet. You guys are good sleuths. But, you know, when I was 21 or 20 years old, coming out of college, trying to figure out my way in the world, like every other college student, I was lucky enough to find Harriet Cole's name in a magazine. Something led me to Google her name. I read her bio, and I saw that she'd successfully created this really multifaceted career for herself in media. She carved out a lane that was hers to own, and it was so inspiring to me. And this was at a time before the age of Instagram, when everyone, now is a personal brand and everyone's a multi-hyphenate in this generation. She was ahead of the curve. And I thought, this is what I want to be. This is the woman who I want to follow in the footsteps of. And so I relentlessly cold called, emailed, followed up, and eventually got an informational with her that absolutely changed my life and the trajectory of my career. And she 5 months later, hired me on to be her assistant. And so I moved from California, from a small town in California, to New York City, where I had no connections, no previous experience, and she groomed me. But I worked hard for her,
and that's the key.
That's the key.
And speaking of working hard, the book is called More Than Enough. I'm just going to end with a quote from you, if you don't mind.
Oh, please.
On the last page of the book. And when the world tells you shrink, expand. Remember, you have done enough, you are enough, you were born enough. The world is waiting for you. Elaine, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.